guys, my name's Abby and I'm a certified lactation consultant. I just wanted to make a quick video for new moms that want to breastfeed their babies. To get breastfeeding off to a good start, you want to initiate breastfeeding after the first hour of birth. Also, ask your doctor if you can room in with your baby. That way you can recognize those early hunger signs and put your baby to the breast as needed. Also, holding your baby skin to skin as much as possible helps regulate their blood sugar, helps keep their body temperature normal, and then when they're ready to feed, they're already close to you. So recognizing early hunger signs is really important. The best time to breastfeed your baby is when they're in a light sleep state. So when they're starting to wake up. So if you see rapid eye movement, some moving around, that's the best time to feed them. If you wait until they're rooting and searching and have their hands in their mouth, sometimes they can get really angry really fast if they're really hungry. If your baby's crying that they're so hungry, then it's kind of past time to feed and you need to kind of calm them down before you try to latch them on. So as far as the latch, you want to focus on a deep latch. So your nipple is going to be almost at the back of their throat. So when they're nursing, the milk is basically just flowing down their throat. So if the latch is shallow, sometimes that's when you'll experience pain. And then I'd like to talk a little bit about milk supply and demand. So basically your milk supply has nothing to do with what you eat or what you drink. It's just putting the baby to the breast. So giving formula can actually make your breast milk supply go down. Every time you replace formula with a breastfeeding, that tells your brain, hey, we don't need that much milk. And then also your baby's tummy is really small at birth. It's about the size of a grape. So it only takes a few milliliters of milk to fill them up. And that first milk that comes out is going to be really thick and yellow. That's called colostrum. It helps bring on your immunity for your baby. So it protects your baby from getting sick. And then depending on whether you have a vaginal birth or a C-section, your milk can come in anywhere between 2 days. If you had a C-section, it may be day 6 or day 7. That's okay. Because the colostrum will be there and that will be what your baby eats until that mature milk comes in. So you're going to see it turn from like a yellowish color to more whitish like you would think milk would be. So basically you know your baby's getting enough milk by how many wet and dirty diapers they're having. So I feel like every mother fears that their baby's not getting enough milk, but you're gonna see that in their diapers. So as long as they're having wet and poop diapers, then you know something's coming in if something's going out. And then also like your doctor will let you know like the weight gain is good, everything's normal. So when your baby's first born, they're gonna have really black tarry stool, and that's called meconium, and it might take a day or two for that to pass. And then it might be greenish, brownish, and then breastfed babies, their poop is really yellow, like almost like mustard. And sometimes it's seedy, that's normal. Sometimes I have moms say like, oh, my baby has diarrhea, and they're worried, but it's okay. They're not gonna have solid stool until they start eating solid food, so that's totally normal. They may have several poops a day. I think as moms, we fear that we aren't making enough milk. It's just a natural fear because you can't see what your baby is getting, but you're gonna see that in their diapers. So as long as they're having wet and poop diapers, that lets you know that they're getting milk when they're nursing. And then also your doctor will let you know like their weight gain is good, and there's no concern there. As your baby grows, your breast milk supply grows. Babies, they go through cluster feeding, which is basically they're feeding much more often than 2 to 3 hours. So you want to watch your baby for those hunger signs. And I mean, they might want to feed every 20 minutes sometimes, but that's okay. That's what builds your breast milk supply, and that's normal. Sometimes moms misinterpret that as, oh, my baby's hungry too often, I'm not making enough milk. But that's really what makes your breast milk supply grow, is putting them to the breast on cue when they're giving you those hunger signs. I just want to talk a little bit about the latch. So there is a, I don't know, it's, I guess, an acronym for Latch. So Latch stands for, the L stands for lips should be out like a fish. So your baby's lips should be turned out when they're nursing. The A is for angle. So the baby should be angled to the bottom of your breast. The T is for their tongue, so their tongue should be kind of out somewhat, out of their mouth. The tongue is facilitating them to nurse. The C is for chin, so their chin should be tucked in close to your breast, and then their head should be allowed to be tilted back. So you don't want to hold your baby's head so tight that they can't move their head back a little bit to get a good latch on your breast. So basically, you're going to use these two fingers to support the back of their neck, and these two fingers are going to be holding their head a little bit because they have to be able to tilt their head back a little bit to get. I want you to imagine that they're eating a giant hamburger and they have to allow their head to get on there to get a deep latch. So basically, your nipple is going to be in the very back of their mouth. The milk is going to be basically squirting down their throat. So if they're on the tip of your nipple, that's when you're going to feel pain, and you might not get as good milk transfer when my son was born. I had a lot of pain. It took probably 6 or 8 weeks, but after that it got better. So I want to encourage you to make it past that hard point. It does take 6 or 8 weeks because you and your baby are learning. It is a natural process, but it does take some work. You have to teach your baby how to latch onto you. So I just encourage you to stick with it. It will get better. I know you can be in pain sometimes, but it does eventually go away, and you learn what works for you and your baby. And just because some positions or some techniques work better for other moms doesn't necessarily mean that's what'll work for you. And I want moms to focus on the latch more than anything else, because it's proven that moms who use nipple shields and nipple creams and pumps and all these other gadgets are not as successful as moms who just focus on that deep latch. I feel like moms get frustrated because they feel like I've tried a nipple shield, I've tried this cream, I've tried pumping, and they're just focusing more on those things and they feel like they've failed. So if we just focus on that deep latch and mom's comfortable and mom's not in pain, that's where you get the most success. Probably the most common thing I hear from breastfeeding moms is they fear that they don't make enough milk for their baby. And actually that's super rare. That almost never happens. Basically, as long as you're putting the baby to the breast at every feeding, that's going to build your milk supply, and you're going to see that in your baby's diapers. So as long as they're having wet diapers and poop diapers and the doctor says the weight gain is good, then everything's okay. Your body's making enough milk for your baby. I just want to stress that giving your baby formula can actually interfere with your milk supply. So every time you give a bottle, instead of putting the baby to the breast, that tells your brain to not make more milk. The only thing that makes more milk is putting the baby to the breast, and then that's what signals for more milk making. A lot of moms ask me, what can they eat? What can they drink? What medicine can they take to increase their milk supply? And it's really just putting the baby to the breast at every feeding. The baby controls your milk supply. So there's really not any trick to it. It's just staying consistent. And something else I like to tell moms is, you've trusted your body to grow this baby, and now your body's going to do the same thing after birth. So there's no reason to worry. It's natural. As long as your baby's having wet diapers, poop diapers, the doctor says that the weight gain is good, there's nothing to worry about. You can feed your baby from your body and not have to supplement.